From the Forbidden Islands they came, to the kingdom of Aeluin. The initial raiding force lands near the village of Ifgobel. Led by the Imperial champion Tolog, his beasts and their tamers start to ravage the countryside. Luckily for the locals, the weapon master Manius has gathered a small force and marches to intercept the perfidious foe. The battlefield. The Dark Elf raiding force. The local Aeluin defenders. As the weapon master leads his forces past a small creek, he notes the shapes of monstrous creatures on the other side of a group of ruins. The fast-moving Rocco Collar cavalry sweep to the left as experienced militia archers cover a gap in the ruins. With the bolt thrower established on the high ground behind him, Manius leads his disciples of war flanked by a local Magi and militia spearmen. Fortunately, the small group of Glade scouts who had originally found the foe are still alive in a small grove. Finally, the militia knights and a local prince with a chariot enthusiast cover the far right.
The cute senses of the beasts warn Talog of the presence of the sparkling foe. The Hydra leads some spearmen around one ruin. As the abyssal beast is driven forwards by the thrusts of the main spearman horde. A bolt thrower is hastily assembled near the creek. Behind Talog and his guardsmen sit the beast tamers with their vicious whips, ensuring none shall flee the battle. Turn 1. The spearman horde rushes past a disgruntled abyssal beast keen to bring pain to their hated king.
The Glade scouts take aim through the forest, and arrows rain down upon the Dark Elf spearman horde.
The cries of pain send the abyssal beast into a frenzy, rushing forward through the spearmen.
The apprentice Magi nearest the abyssal beast runs forward, seeking to curse the beast, illuminating it for the archers to fire upon it. Quick to take advantage of the spell, the militia archers loose a volley upon the beast, but its hide proves to be too tough. Moving at a brisk trot, the Rocco Collar sweep around the flank.
The bolt thrower sees light cavalry advancing. AN obliterates them. They flee from the field.
On the opposite flank, the chariot crew advance, but wisely decide not to fire upon the Hydra.
Eager to get to grips with their frail foe, the spearmen try to bait the chariot onto their spear points.
The second apprentice Magi seeks to support the chariot and blasts the spearmen with arcane fire. The impetuous elven prince overestimates the impact of the arcane blast and leads the militia knights into the Stygian spearmen. Many spearmen are trampled under hooves, and the survivors fall back surprisingly undaunted. The bolt thrower tries to get a clean shot on the abyssal beast, but is unable. Manius leads the disciples of war towards the Glade scouts, and sends the spearmen in support of the impulsive prince.
Turn 2. With multiple roars, the Hydra bounds into the elven spearmen who lock shields, take the impact, falling back shaken with a handful of casualties.
The prince, convinced of the glory about to be his, rallies the militia knights to finish off the last of the nefarious spearmen. To his surprise, the spears prove to be more than a match for the cavalry, driving back the prince in utter confusion.
The abyssal beast, seeking cover from the pricks of many arrows, takes a hard left turn towards the forest.
With the beast fleeing from vision, the militia archers spy a horde of oncoming spearmen, and release volley after volley, cutting down many of the heinous foe.
Not willing to let the cowardly archers have their way, the bolt thrower crew turn their sight towards the archers, who by some miracle are mostly unaffected.
The Glade scouts panic at the sight of an oncoming giant beast and loose their arrows wildly to no effect.
The beast tamers continue to let their fellow raiders know that retreat is not an option.
Realizing the threat the Hydra poses, the chariot crew pepper it with barbed arrows.
The Imperial champion Talag leads his guardsmen over the dead spearmen bodies, unfazed.
The militia spearmen redress their ranks and turn to face the Hydra ready for round 2. As the Disciples of War also pivot so as not to receive a flank charge from the enraged beast, both apprentice Magi decide to gather their mana, hoping to turn the battle with their biggest spells.
Turn 3. The Hydra rips into the militia spearmen, swiftly swallowing down 4 of the Elves. As they attempt to fall back in good order, the beast follows them seeking more sustenance.
With visions of glory, the apprentice Magi rushes to save the prince, building up his most powerful spell, only to lose control and have the energy fizzle out.
The bolt thrower crew continue to unleash bolt after bolt into the militia archers, whittling down their numbers.
Undeterred, the archers fire another volley into the odious spearman horde.
The beast tamers move in support of the beleaguered spearmen, whilst the crack of their whips calls out to the abyssal beast.
The Glade scouts see the abyssal beast beginning to move to their right and match its movement, but still take the time to fire a few arrows towards the Imperial guardsmen.
Hearing the crack of whips, the abyssal beast starts to rush towards the Magian Elven prince.
In the wake of the rampaging abyssal beast, the apprentice Magi, having gathered the most mana he can handle, unleashes upon the vile spearman horde, leaving them below half strength.
Talag, not one to wait under duress, leads the guardsmen towards the militia archers.
Manius leads his disciples into the forest, in hopes of running down the abyssal beast or maybe the wicked spearman.
As one horde of spearmen turn to face the forest, the few remaining spearmen on the other flank run into the lone Magi, easily cutting him down.
Still, realizing the danger the Hydra now represents, the chariot crew bravely charge into its flank. They injure the beast, but as it falls back it starts to grow even more heads. Taking advantage of the chariot's actions, the militia spearmen march past, towards Manius and the main battle line.
Turn 4. One of the enraged Hydra's many heads spies the Aeluin bolt thrower crew, whose time as corporeal beings is soon over.
Seething at the impertinence of the spearmen, the Elven Prince attempts to run them down once more, only to be fought off yet again.
The abyssal beast finally gets to grips with the Elves. In a frenzy of toothy destruction, the beast rips right through the cavalry and the prince.
The cunning Glade scouts seize the opportunity to walk into the abyssal beast's wake and fire into the dastardly spearman horde, sending the cowardly raiders fleeing.
Looking to cover the Imperial champion least, he turns his eye towards them post-battle. The bolt thrower mows down the remaining militia archers.
The valiant chariot crew continue to harass the giant Hydra, but are forced to roll back from the growing monstrosity.
Imperial champion Talag leads his guardsmen into the furrowed field.
The militia spearmen take position amongst the trees, daring the abyssal beast to come at them.
The beast tamers, hearing the roars of an embattled Hydra, and having full confidence in the abyssal beast, head away towards the center of the battlefield.
The last remaining apprentice, Magi, heads towards the abyssal beast and fires a magic bolt into the perfidious spearmen, ending their time on the battlefield. With the spearman horde dying, Weapon Master Manius turns the war disciples around, heading to cut off the Imperial Guardsmen or the enraged Hydra.
Turn 5. The bolt thrower crew used to having to hunt in dark and murky conditions, spot the movement of the blade guards on the slope of the hill, and wipe them out.
The militia spearmen, worried about being sandwiched between two raging monsters, move forward, spears towards the abyssal beast.
The Hydra finally catches the chariot, tearing Z to pieces.
The Weapon Master steals his men's resolve and advances upon the beast.
With no foes in vision, the Imperial Champion starts to march his guardsmen forward.
The battle hangs in the balance, with spearman versus monster, swordsman versus beast, and a lone Magi seeking to cut off the beast tamers. Turn 6. The apprentice Magi gathers his full might and blasts the beast tamers away with prejudice.
The Hydra, with newly sprouted heads, leaps into the disciples of war and slaughters over half the swordsmen, with the Weapon Master and his few men falling back towards the ruins for a last stand. In the day's last action, the abyssal beast tears into the militia spearmen, whose wall-off spears stab into the beast and fail to pierce its scaly hide. In return, the beast swallows 2 elves completely and the spearmen fall back in despair. Imperial Champion Talag surveys the battlefield as glittery white elves flee in the distance. The day belongs to the raiders. Their pillaging will continue. After a successful raiding season, Imperial Champion Talag leads his forces back home, ships weighed down with plunder.
Once the Elves of Aeluin have finished their mandatory service in the Sindarin, they remain available as conscript militia for the princes and kings to call upon when necessary.